Getting close.
I have an analytical offensive line question to ask you. Or maybe not analytical. What's the word? Just I don't know.
Right off the top rope. You
Yeah.
can't warm them up, let them ease into the segment. You're going analytical on the first question.
I'm going bam, right there to the face. Get that hand up under the chin and what?
It's like first play of the game, and it's a jailbreak blitz, and Strick's got to know his assignments, and this is crazy.
Well, I was listening to Cole Kubelik last week on the SEC Network, who I have so much respect for. I love Cole Kubelik and what he does.
Your second favorite offensive lineman behind Strick.
Yeah, well, certainly. That's not even close. By the way, JC still calls him Cole Kubelik after all these years. I can't figure out how that is.
Well, in some countries, that's probably how it's pronounced.
Maybe by the time of the season. So Cole was talking about Dylan Stewart. John, you may have seen it last week. And what makes him difficult coming off the edge. As soon as I heard this, I said, I got John next week. I'm going to ask you about it. What makes him so difficult coming off the edge is how low he gets to the ground, like his bend. He kept talking about his bend. Describe that for us and why that is so difficult for even some of the best tackles in the country to guard against.
Well, I mean, basically, you want to get your hands on the chest of the defender. Well, when he's coming off that low and he's got that little move where he does that little dip and rip, you can't get your hands on him. So he can slide right by you. So, the old saying is low man wins. That's mostly in the run game, but on the outside, on the pass game, if you got a defensive end that's dipping low and with all that speed coming off the edge, you can't get your hands on the guy. So it makes him sometimes impossible to block. Because really, as an offensive lineman in pass pro, you're taught to punch, get your hands in, and control the defender to block him. And with how low Dylan gets, it makes it pretty tough to get your hands on him.
So I went back and have watched, some clips from him last year, his first year in a South Carolina uniform. And not that we didn't see it, but last year we did, but I was just preparing for our segment here. So I did 100% see exactly what Cole is referencing. I mean, he's like almost on the ground crawling by you. Have you ever seen a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", like him, 250, 260 pounds, who gets that low to the ground coming off the edge? Clowney did not.
But Clowney could do it. Here's the thing. So there's a drill. There's a drill that the NFL scouts do with players at the combine or when you work out at your pro day. There's this drill to where they have these circles on the ground and they have these tennis balls placed on the ground, and they want to see you being able to run full speed without slowing down and picking these balls up off the ground without slowing down at all. Well, Clowney, there was a talk of the scouts of how Clowney flew around those circles and were picking up the balls with not even breaking a stride. And that's just called pure athletic freakish ability is what that is. And Dylan Stewart's got it.
Yeah. Well, Cole also mentioned a lot of what he does athletically, not to take credit away from anybody prior to or currently at South Carolina. That's not taught. Those are just things that you just naturally have.
It's God-given ability. That's all it is.
So what do you do? How do you defend a guy like that?
Just try your best.
I mean, I'm talking about offensively, like from schematically. You see where I'm going with this, right? Because Carolina does have
chip. You chip. So what are they going to run it back into chip? You put a tight end into chip. You give the tackle some help. I mean, that's really the only way to stop it. Now, you're going to have some really good offensive tackles that can react quick enough, and they can get their hand on your back, and can push you down to the ground. So, I mean, that's one way to counteract it. Or you just get your set. But here's the problem. You set back too fast and too deep. He's coming low. You set back too fast, too deep. Just keep your body in front of it. Spin right out of it, inside move, sack on the quarterback. So, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to defend.
Did you cut a guy like that, or is that frowned upon? Were you kind of leery of not trying to hurt somebody? What's the unspoken rule with that?
I mean, you can try and get out and cut. I'll take you back. Georgia. We were playing Georgia at home in 2012, and they were trying to cut Clowney off the edge, and he just jumps right over.
Yeah.
Just jumps right over the guy. So, I mean, you can try it. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean it's going to work. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can try.
Right. But, I mean, on a non-freak like Clowney or Stewart, I'm just curious, when you did cut, a lot of defensive linemen, they don't like you going at anywhere
No,
near
they
their
don't.
knees.
The only
So,
time you want to cut, Mike, is if it's just a quick game pass,
yeah,
like just a 1 or 2 step drop, boom, and you're releasing it on like a slant route or
right.
something, right?
Mm.
Typically, though, on a passing, the majority of passes are gonna be a 3 to 5 step drop, and the receivers, you're waiting for the route to come open.
Mhm.
So if you cut, yes, it's immediate and it gets their hands down. But on a typical pass play, I mean, you cut a guy, I mean, he's popping right back up and he can just step over the top of you.
Mhm.
So, cut. You only use the cut in quick game, and that's really it. On a normal pass play where right routes have to develop, no, you don't want to cut.
Anybody ever accuse you of playing dirty?
I'm sure. Yeah. There was a couple of guys. One of them was a friend of mine that I played in the Georgia Florida All Star game with. He played at Florida, defensive lineman, and I hit him late a few times and landed on top of him on purpose. And he got pissed at me. He called me out. He's like, "Strick, what are you doing, man?" So I told him after the game, I was like, "My bad, man. I just get hyped up out here. I'm a different
Yeah.
person, you know."
Yeah.
And then I guess it was Clemson 2004. God, what was that guy's name? Their nose tackle or either three technique. I reached him on a outside zone play, and I just kept driving him and driving him all the way to the sideline. Just didn't let off even after the whistle blow. He was
That's what
pissed
rivalries
off.
are all about, man.
Yeah.
That's
Is
like,
there any?
yeah.
Is there any? This is completely off the radar, and then we'll get back to back in the lane, so to speak. But is there anything about the rules that changes the modifications since you play that you see today that you're either in favor of or you're not a big fan of?
Uh, I used to like to go downfield on the screen pass and cut block guys. Um, can't do that anymore, which is probably for the best
Yeah.
because you can get guys hurt. But uh, peeling back on a guy and decleating him, God, that was my favorite thing to do. Can't do that anymore. That's a penalty. Sometimes can lead to ejection.
Yeah.
So that and the thing I hate the most is is all the tic tac 15-yard penalties for DBs hitting receivers. I hate that. And I'm an offensive guy, but man, like watching a guy like DJ Swearinger light somebody up. Now, not to the head. I agree with the not to the head, but it seems like every little thing they're just calling it.
Yeah.
And I mean, football's just gotten a little bit softer, but I get why they did it. I just think sometimes there's a thin line, and these refs get a little too flag happy on stuff. Kind of like the Kyle Kennard, Garrett Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. Yeah, that's exactly what came to my mind. I got one more quick one on Stewart here. Maybe this is kind of a silly. I mean, we see it a lot in college football, but if that's your best player, right, at edge, and I think we can all agree coming into the season, we would all firmly pick Dylan Stewart as the best player on defense for this team. What is the benefit, and what would be if there is a negative to it, of moving him from one side to the other side? So for what I'm getting at is if there was a better matchup with the right tackle versus whatever's going on with the left tackle. Can you kind of walk us through how some of that works sometimes?
Well, I mean, I guess that just all comes back to like Dylan's comfortability at which edge he rushes better.
Mm-hmm.
If he has one side that he kind of gets off the ball better on, you feel good enough to where you feel like he can beat whoever, right? That's how I feel about him. I feel about you line him up over whoever, and I think Dylan's got a good chance to disrupt plays on whatever tackle he's playing. But man, if he's feels great on either side, I say if you feel like there's a one tackle's weaker than the other and you can exploit it, yeah, I think you take advantage of it.
You switch them over. So one person who's going to get who's going to be benefiting majorly from the best defensive end in the SEC is Josiah Thompson, who is going to
Oh
be
yeah,
the starting left tackle this year for South Carolina. I mean, you
I
almost,
think both tackles are
you,
getting the benefit. I
yeah,
mean, because I'm sure both of them are seeing him in practice, and I think it's good for both of them.
yeah. My question to you is, and you play. I mean, you actually played everywhere. I know you ended up being one of the better centers, really, probably in the last ever in the history of the program. If everybody actually goes and thinks about it, how good that group was, y'all's offensive line. When you're coming out of your freshman year, and he played in every game last year, Josiah did, but can you kind of give us the walk us through what that jump, I don't know about jump, but the maturity level of a true freshman offensive lineman in this league who got as much playing time as he did, then having a winter and a spring and a summer to continue to develop his body, continue to work on all these things. How far of a jump can he take from what we saw last year to what we could see this year? The reason I'm asking you this, John, just real quick here, and I'll shut up, is I thought if there was maybe anybody that could have possibly been left off of these preseason teams for South Carolina, Josiah Thompson was my guy. He would be the one dude that I would pick, who I didn't see on any lists. So I was just curious how far you think he could have come since last season.
I think he's going to come a long way. I mean, for one, he's already a year and a half, over a year and a half, in college. He came in January, started working out, went through all of spring, all of summer last year, played in 12 games last year. Then he's had this whole spring and now all this summer. I think it's what it's going to do to him is the mental side. Like a lot of people just think line play is just all about, physicality, right? But it's a mental game too. I think on the mental side, he'll be able to relax more in his head because he knows what to expect and knows what to do. That it's actually going to help him perform better physically on the field. So I think that's the biggest takeaway you get from, you know, playing one year and then coming into your next year is really your mental side just gets so much better. And then obviously your technique, everything else is coming along too because you're getting older. You've been practicing, honing your skills in your game. But I think the mental side is really what you see improve the most. And and when that mental improves, it helps the physicality of the game improve because you're not hesitant on stuff. Maybe I'm unsure. Whatever. So I think that's the biggest jump you really see with offensive linemen.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a guy. I'm not picking on this guy at all. Tom Fornelli, who works for CBS. I think all those guys actually do a pretty good job. He was asked, Mike, I don't know if you saw it or not, but he kind of gave his opinion on the Gamecocks, and he mentioned that of course they returned Lenore Sellers and really like these guys. Not saying they can't win a ton of games. He wasn't saying that at all. Mentioned Dylan Stewart, but he went on to say that basically virtually every other major impact player from last year's team is gone, and he referenced the interior of the offensive line. And of course, he's not wrong about that. The interior of the offensive line is gone from last year, but they also returned the interior of the offensive line from the year before. And both those guys played last year. And then they're adding Boaz Stanley. So this offensive line, John, I was talking to some friends and cousins this weekend, and it seems like this is the conversation every year. Would y'all disagree with that? Like, I feel like every single year, no matter who you have as a playmaker, as a quarterback, or anything like that at South Carolina, I feel like we're always the most uneasy about the offensive line. And I literally had to go back, I feel like, to your group, no disrespect to anybody at all who played in between. And I know a lot of these guys. I feel like going into your senior year, that was the last time I feel like we all really felt like, man, this group is solid. They're returning and they're this, that, and the other. And I don't know what should our expectations be for them game one in Atlanta, week one, when you've got 4 guys who've started a ton of games around here.
Well, I think one, you know, Gamecock people know their football. Well, guess what? This is a line of scrimmage league. So we're going to talk about the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Maybe elsewhere they like to talk about all the skill players, but I mean, the offensive line's a big deal. And I think this team, honestly, this year this offense goes as far as this offensive line will take them. So when you put not so much 3 new faces, all right, because we kind of know some of the guys that are going to be at the guard position. But when you put 3 new faces in the center of a line, it's not always, it's not the greatest thing, right? Because you would like to have, 1 or 2 returning out of those middle 3. Center, that's the quarterback of the offensive line. So you want somebody who has a strong mentality, smart mentally, physically. Obviously, it's a concern whenever you get 3 new starters in the middle of an offensive line. I think those guys. I can't wait to see them here in camp just to kind of get a little more of a look. I think the D tackles, kind of beat up on them a little bit in spring, but like I've told y'all, I think this D tackle group's going to be pretty damn good.
I'm with you. I agree.
I really think they are. So I think anybody's going to struggle with them. And during the spring when I watched them, like I've always said, the defense is always going to be ahead of the offense. They just are. It is what it is, especially when you have new starters in that offense. You had guys going. The defense is always going to be ahead in the springtime. But I think that Virginia Tech game, it'll be hard to gauge how that offensive line, keeps going the rest of the season. But man, if they come out that Virginia Tech game and we're moving the ball, running the ball, Lenore's has time to throw the ball. I think if that's happening in that game, we should feel pretty good about this offensive line. But we do have some unknowns in the middle as of right now.
Mike, I think like what you and I were talking about earlier in buy or sell. John, I asked Mike earlier in our buy or sell segment, do you buy or sell a South Carolina offensive player, obviously not named Lenore Sellers, having a 1,000-yard season, be it a receiver or a running back or something like that? Mike sold it. I went ahead and bought it just for giggles. But I don't think anything that, like, I don't even know if you can ask that question without those guys up front playing well. I don't, if they're not very good this year, number one, I think Shane Beamer's got a bigger problem than he would have ever wanted to have, because they do have talent. Let's be honest. Like, anybody that tries to tell you that this group isn't talented, they're dead wrong. It's talented. So if they don't play well, I don't think any of that is possible. I think, John, you hit the nail on the head. Like, they're going to go far. They've got Lenore Sellers. As long as he's playing football here, they're going to win. But can they maximize how far that is? I think it's up to them.
It is up to them. I mean, I talked to some of them at spring, and I just said, listen, the team's only going to go as far as you guys are going to take them. And they all know that. And I think they're ready for the challenge. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Just from what I saw, the guys we got, I like what I see. It remains to be seen, though, until they get out on the field. But I'm excited about this group. Really good, talented players in this group. And the great thing is having two seasoned veterans, even though Josiah's just going to be in his second year. He's a seasoned veteran now. He went the whole season. Yeah. I think having that out on the edge is great. And I mean, Boaz Stanley, man, he's played a lot of football, so it's not like he's some young kid that hadn't played any snaps. He played a ton of snaps, started a lot of games at Troy. So I think we'll be all right, but like I said, it remains to be seen. You never know.
We never return. South Carolina never returns 2 starting tackles in a season. Like I feel like that never happens, but
It's been a
it is this
while.
year. Why are you
Have to go
high
back
on
to
the?
Spurrier. Have to go back to Spurrier days. I think I could be messing that up, but I think so.
Who Jabari? When your senior year, it was Jabari, Nashon, you,
Jonathan Austin,
Jonathan Alston from
Chris,
Stratford,
Chris White at left guard.
Chris White. That's who I was missing.
Yeah,
God,
and then
that was
my
a heck of
junior
a.
year was Travell.
Shane Hall.
Some Barn. No, Shane was already graduated. Some
Okay.
Barnes / Jabari at left guard, Austin at right guard, and Nashon at right tackle. We only
Jabari
gave up 11 sacks that entire year.
in 03 or 04?
03.
Man,
And we averaged, I think, 165 or 70 yards rushing per game.
Somebody mentioned the old T formation that Lou would break out every now and then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to run that, especially you get down on the goal line.
There's a I mentioned this yesterday. There's a special on, I guess it's SEC Network, and usually you can go back and watch them. You don't have to see it live. The history of the wishbone, Strick.
Mm.
The history of the wishbone offense, and basically it was a coach that worked at Texas. Texas lent it to Oklahoma. You imagine that your rival says, "Hey, you mind us showing us that thing?" And then Oklahoma started beating Texas with the wishbone. And then, of course, it went on and on and on, and eventually it got phased out, just like the T got phased out. Like Lou would bring back some things that, like, oh, people are still doing this?
Shoot, man, in high school, I ran the wing T.
The wing T? Oh, yeah.
We
Well,
averaged 320 yards rushing a game, and I was pulling all game long, just
right.
killing people.
I mean, I used to
I played
do
guard in high school. They had me pulling all day long, just knocking people out.
I used to do a lot of high school games getting started in the business, and it seemed like every team ran the wing T. It was like, oh my goodness, and it's always like a man in like it's based on deception, right? It's always a man in motion pre-snap. You don't know if he's going to get the ball or not.
Yeah, if you have really good running backs, well, I won't say really good, but for a high school level, you have really good running backs, and you have a big athletic offensive line, you can pound that wing T on high school teams, and
Yeah.
that's what we used to do. Like my offensive line, I mean, we averaged, I think across the board, we were about 265, 270, and everybody was pretty damn athletic, and we had some really good fast twitch running backs behind us, and we just pound people with it. And we played the Valdosta's, the Lowndes counties, the Cockett counties, the Tift counties, the Ware counties. You know, we were big boy region down in South Georgia. If you know anything about that.
Very well. What's the farthest you got in the playoffs in high school?
First round, we lost to Brunswick to my old teammate at South
Oh.
Carolina, Darius Slay.
Oh,
Or Daryl Slay.
Daryl Slay, yeah.
On the line.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
not nice
we
for
went
you.
over to Brunswick, man. We should have won that game, and they got us. They got us.
Yeah.
The home of the great Jay Brown, former pitcher for the Gamecocks, Brunswick, Georgia. Just out of curiosity, real quick here, man. We're starting to, as Mike and I often go, like, can we just talk football? You know what I mean? Like, enough with the NIL, enough with all these like crazy things that happened in the summer. And you mentioned I want you to say I love the interior of the defensive line as well. I'm a big believer in these guys, and I'm a huge believer in Nick Barrett. I think I'm probably maybe one of only a few in that category right there. A lot of people are kind of questioning him, and that's okay. Monkel Goodwine, Brownlow Dindy, I know Xavier Hardy will be in the mix. They've got some younger guys, but those three primarily, John, should be the dudes this year. What excites you about them?
I mean, they're just big and physical. Not huge, but you know, they're just big physical guys. And just watching them during the few spring practices I went to, I mean, they cause some havoc. I mean, they look good. They look really good. They look better than I thought they were going to look. How about that? So I was actually I was like, okay, all right. I feel pretty good about this because obviously you lose the the 4 guys out the middle we had last year, I mean, you're a little worried, but just from my eye test, I'm not too worried about it. Now, we'll see once the games kick off and what happens, but I mean, they look pretty damn good. And, I guess at SEC Media Days, there was rumors going around. Clayton said, yeah, the offense didn't score on us at all. And da-da-da-da-da. And Beamer's like, what? He said that? And that's what's pretty funny, which is about what I saw, though, for real. I mean, they look pretty good, man. I'm excited about the group. It's a younger group, very talented group.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just see how it all plays out. Here very shortly, we will see how it all plays out.
The Nick Barrett story in today's climate of college football is just something that it means a lot to me as a fan of this sport.
Oh, I love it. He's like, let me redshirt.
Yeah.
I know what we got. I know we got 4 NFL guys in front of me. I'll take the red shirt unless something just happens and you really need me. And I'll be back next year, and let's go. I love that. I love that. That's called being an unselfish team player.
Yeah. There's a reason why Shane Beamer took him to media days. Clearly.
100%.
And Brownlow Dindy, 5-star, and Monkel Goodwine. I mean, Mike, you've been around Nick Saban, right? I don't remember Nick Saban recruiting a lot of defensive tackles that weren't very good. Matter of fact, I think every one of them was good, and this guy was recruited by him. To play in Tuscaloosa. I think it's a very exciting group. I think it's going to be one of the more surprising groups in the SEC this year from an outsider's perspective, because now the rest of the league and the rest of the country knows what Carolina lost. I mean, we all knew that was going to happen going into the draft, and they lost all these guys. Now they're all millionaires. And it was like, oh my gosh, Carolina doesn't ever have 2 or 3 defensive linemen like that just truck off to the NFL and play ball. How the hell are they going to replace those guys? I think people are going to be a little bit surprised when they see them.
I agree. I think the talent's there with those guys. I think they got a chance to make a splash. So we'll see how it pans.
Speaking of talent, it just showed up. Cold Water Sherbert's here. Mad Dog's here.
Cold water
Sherbert.
Nick Barrett's always been a player I've been intrigued by. Goldsboro, North Carolina, in the heart of D-line heaven, the home of Dave Odom, Mike's buddy. I went to a hell of a strip club there one night after we ran over a cat on a recruiting trip, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, it was interesting. Anyway, he was like a honor student. I don't want to say Rhodes Scholar, but like high GPA guy. Was a little short, and North Carolina at the time, UNC didn't want to take, for some reason, it didn't turn out too well for them, but they didn't take anybody less than 6'3.5" at D tackle. That was, I guess, a Mac Brown rule. So the Gamecocks ended up getting him during the transition for Mushu. And that class, you remember, guys, ended up with some pretty good players in it, but it was small. And he stuck with it. And we all remember the interception he had in the Gator Bowl as a D tackle. They threw it to him. I saw him last summer at the wing eating contest, and he had slimmed way down, and he was listed 309 last year. And before that, he's around 330. He's back up to 322 now.
Yeah.
And I like him better at that weight.